We've been married for 10 years, and Monday night we were sitting with my wife at the kitchen table. Sandra, or I call her Sandy, had prepared a pretty standard dish. The skillet bubbling and beeping, Sandy even put in cauliflower cheese, nice and crispy. Lovely, just the way I like it, with leftover roast beef from last night and pickles on the side. She brought me a pint of my favorite beer. I suppose the occasional strong beer on a work night is no problem. But I've known her for about 14 years now. Something is coming up and I probably won't like it. And so it happened. Friday night I'm going on a date with one of the guys from work, and before you get excited about it, it's just dinner. There's no sex involved, so you can put that idea out of your head. It's not what I was expecting, but it's not what I'm expecting. Why not? I was acting all calm on the outside. On the inside, I was seething. I want some excitement, something for myself. Things have gotten a little routine. I think I see where this is going. So now it's my fault that things have gotten a little routine. You didn't say that when I took you to the Red Lion for dinner and dancing on Saturday last week, or on Friday when we won the pub quiz. On the contrary, you were over the moon about the bottle of champagne we won that night. That was us. I want something for myself, and believe me, there's no sex involved. It's just dinner. So who is this guy, and when did you and he decide to do this? It's Jonathan. He's been asking me for weeks, but I've always turned him down. Tonight he asked again, and insisted it was just dinner. No sex, he promised. So I said yes. I kind of guessed it was new boyfriend Jonathan. She had mentioned him a few times a few months ago, but then she stopped mentioning him. I stopped by her office one day when she forgot to bring her lunch, and I saw him. You know when you instantly dislike some ingratiating shit? Well, that's what it was, and we've met a few times in the city. I don't want you to go, but it's your choice. But I'm warning you, I don't trust him, and I don't believe you about no sex. Don't forget, I saw him. The next 2 days were cold in the house. Wednesday she came home late. She had a bag from the supermarket, but 2 more handles peeking out of it. She hid one bag inside the other. Hiding something, and it didn't bode well. While she cooked dinner, I went to take a shower and peeked into the far corner of her closet. There was another bag with a sexy satin blue dress and a new pair of stockings. I couldn't take it out without giving away what I'd found. Well, what if it was a surprise for me? Doubtful, of course. Thursday, I left the house at the usual time, but called in sick to work. I had a lot to do. Thursday night was freezing. She told me that they would be leaving early on Friday, so by the time I got home from work, she would probably be gone. She probably didn't want me to see her wearing her new dress. I didn't see that coming. I had to give my planned speech early. Where are you going on your date? I'm not telling you. You'll show up and ruin it. You need to think about that, about what you're doing going on a date with another man, not your husband, and you don't tell me where you're going. I won't stand for it. If you leave, I'll throw you out on the street. She looked at me in amazement. You won't do that. You love me. I do love you, but do you want to test that? She looked down. And I suppose your company has a morality policy? I'll find out. You don't. I'll be fired. You want to risk it? I finished my speech. If you go out with him, I won't be here when you get back, sex or no sex. I think it bothered her. She had been warned. It was even colder in bed at night. I left for work early so I wouldn't have to face her in the morning, but get home early. I made it home. Her car was parked there. I went inside but didn't make myself known. I waited 15 minutes after the shower stopped pouring and went upstairs to our bedroom. She was standing there in a satin dress. She looked stunning. That's why you're leaving early. You don't want me to see the new dress. I picked up the empty stocking package on the bed. She looked embarrassed. So you're not going to have sex with him, but you're going out looking like a first-class escort. I was tempted to use the word prostitute or whore, but for now that would probably be overkill. Until she was out the door, there was still a chance. When we went dancing at the Red Lion, I wore a blouse, skirt, and tights. I didn't have stockings, but Jonathan bought them. And you bought him a new dress. Who paid for that? I did. With money from our joint account? Yeah, of course you did. No, you didn't pay for it. We did, and since I put most of the money into that account, now you're using my money to dress up for your boyfriend. He's not my boyfriend. Then why are you dating him? I want something different, something exciting. The doorbell rang. I went downstairs. She followed me. It was Jonathan. I could tell he was surprised to see me. Now that the situation was at an impasse, I gave her a choice. If you put one foot out the door, we will break up. No, that's not going to happen. You love me. Do you want to try to take a chance? Jonathan smiled at her, held out his hand, and said, Sandy, it's time to go. That seemed to make her make a decision. She walked out the door. I squeezed past them. Sandra. She looked at me. I pulled an envelope of divorce papers out of my back pocket, removed my wedding ring, dropped it inside, and sealed the envelope. I held it out to her. She didn't take it. Jonathan was still with his hand out, so I put the envelope in his hand. I looked at him. When you're done having sex, give it to her. I walked up to the side of the house and picked up the "For Sale" sign that had been hanging there since I'd contacted the estate agents and attached it to a post by the fence. Sandra stood with her mouth wide open, leaning against the door jamb. I walked past her back into the house, grabbed my backpack and a large suitcase, got out and threw the luggage into the back seat of my Mondeo. I turned to Sandy and said, I'll be back tomorrow to get the rest of my stuff. Make sure he's not in the house, pointing at Jonathan. She collapsed on the floor, flooding with tears. Now you can date and sleep with whoever you want. You can't talk to her like that, Jonathan pushed me. Oh, so cute. I was glad the cameras were recording everything. I stepped forward and kicked him in the stomach with my knee as hard as I could. He fell over and started to vomit. Sandra was lying on the floor, crying and looking up at me. Don't mess with me. I'll see you tomorrow. I drove to my parents' house. They were waiting for me. On Saturday, I went to pick up some more of my stuff. Jonathan wasn't there. She begged me to stay. I told her that if she's going out with coworkers dressed like that, it shows that she doesn't respect me, and it's only a matter of time before she loses her way. And I'm not going to wait for that to happen. I offered to find her a place to live somewhere since I already had a suitable offer on a house. She'll get half. I packed up everything I wanted and left for my new life without looking back.